This Civic Media podcast is sponsored by UW Organ and Tissue Donation. Organ donations are desperately needed, and now is the right time to become an organ donor. Talk to your family. Get the dot. Save lives. Go to heroicdeed.com.
This is your WLAK Daily News Roundup for Lake Air, 107.5 FM and 1260 AM in Amory.
For WLAK News, I'm James Kelly. 1 year after the Duluth Entertainment Convention Center requested a $1 million emergency line of credit, officials say that credit has not been used once. On Tuesday, the DECC board confirmed that the organization is not looking to extend the credit after seeing a 19% jump in new revenue. They initially requested the credit line due to higher than expected utility bills, but never intended to use it unless they truly needed to in order to remain open. DECC officials also thanked area residents for showing up consistently to support the facility. The city of Rice Lake has entered into a partnership with Johnson Truck Bodies for the construction of a manufacturing plant. According to a press release from the city, the plant will be located in the North Business Park and occupy about 220,000 square feet. Officials from Johnson Truck Bodies say once they fully transition into the new facility, their current plant on East Allen Street will be demolished. Both groups say the partnership shows their commitment to working towards a bright future for the Rice Lake community. The driver who crashed into a power pole in Ashland and temporarily knocked power out in the area has been arrested for driving under the influence. According to Xcel Energy officials, about 1,100 customers in Ashland lost power as a result of the late-night Tuesday crash, and extensive damage to the pole kept that section of Highway 2 closed for hours. According to the Ashland Police Department, 59-year-old Terry Weaver was taken to the hospital for treatment following the crash and was later charged for driving with a revoked license and OWI. A new terminal at the Sky Harbor Airport will be named after a local engineer this week. A naming ceremony was scheduled for Thursday for the new Robert R. Gilruth terminal at the Duluth Airport. Gilruth was a Duluth native who held leadership positions at NASA during the height of the space race, serving as the first director of NASA's Manned Spacecraft Center. The new terminal features over $2.5 million of upgrades, including a new pilot lounge, modern flight planning room, vending options, and outdoor patio space. A major road near the Blatnick Bridge is set to reopen for traffic soon following lengthy construction closures. According to Minnesota Department of Transportation officials, the newly constructed section of Garfield Avenue is set to reopen on November 11th. When reopened, commuters will once again be able to use Garfield Avenue to exit the Blatnick Bridge. Work on the bridge reconstruction project is still far from complete, and a piece of I-535 that connects to the bridge from I-35 will not be complete until sometime next year. A popular member of the Lake Superior Zoo has died. According to zoo officials, their 17-year-old Eurasian lynx named Felix had been struggling to eat and get around her enclosure. The species typically lives up to 15 years in the wild, but Felix had been doing well for her age even just a few weeks ago. Zoo staff say they made the difficult decision to humanely euthanize her after noticing her struggles. Felix had been at the Lake Superior Zoo since 2010 and was one of the longest tenured residents and a fan favorite of the zoo. Duluth residents may have noticed a new red magnet on police department squad cars around the city this week. According to the Duluth Police Department, the magnets are part of a partnership with the DEA for the Red Ribbon campaign. The campaign is meant to raise awareness about the importance of living in a drug-free community and encourage residents to maintain a healthy lifestyle and seek resources and help if they're struggling. The campaign has been going on for decades in honor of a DEA agent killed in 1985. The Damiano Center in Duluth will receive $1.4 million of funding for renovations to help address homelessness. On Tuesday, the St. Louis County Board approved the funding under the Stepping On Up initiative, allowing the center to renovate its third floor to serve the unhoused population. Funding for the project was provided by the American Rescue Plan Act, the city's public safety funds, and from TIF funding that was set aside for the canceled Hawk Ridge Estate project. The timeline for the renovations has not been announced. A Rusk County jail inmate is facing new charges after being accused of trying to hire his cellmate to kill two people. According to court documents, 65-year-old Malcolm Young was charged with conspiracy to commit first-degree intentional homicide and armed robbery. The cellmate was with Young in jail for just a couple days, and upon their release, they told authorities Young wanted them to get a few guys, guns, and gun suppressors to kill two people. Young claimed it was just jail talk, and he had no reason to kill anyone. The 12-year-old boy who saved his father from a bear attack in western Wisconsin last month is receiving special recognition. Over the weekend, the Burnett County Sheriff's Office gave Owen Byerman the Hero Award for taking down the bear as it mauled his father, Ryan. The attack occurred on September 7th while the two were out hunting near Siren. Owen initially shot the bear, which ran off into the woods, and attacked when he and his father tracked it down. Ryan received treatment and stitches for the cuts and bites he suffered. And that's what you need to know. For WLAK News, I'm James Kelly.
The Bucks win on the road. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. NBA, the Bucks won their season opener in Philly, 124-109. Did they get a break since the 76ers' Paul George and Joel Embiid were both out with knee injuries? Doc Rivers.
No, I mean, we didn't have Chris, which is one of our key guys. But we're not worried about the opponent right now, honestly. We're more worried about how we play.
The Bucks host the Bulls tomorrow night. College football, the Badgers host number 3 ranked Penn State Saturday night. Luke Fickell facing that tough Nittany Lions defensive front.
They're going to move all around. They've got really, really good athletes. I think obviously that's where the strength of their team is.
NFL, Matt LaFleur inviting his close friend and former Jets head coach Robert Saleh to practice. Will Saleh be joining the coaching staff?
It's pretty fluid. I think it's important for him to spend time, obviously, with his family. So he's staying through Thursday and going back on Friday.
The Packers play the Jaguars in Jacksonville Sunday. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. On this last weekend before Halloween, you'll have several good thrillers to choose from, including a couple new releases. Let's start with Conclave, a murder mystery set in the Vatican, when the church hierarchy gathers to select the new pope. The film stars Ralph Fiennes and is pulling a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's rated PG. I didn't think they made PG films anymore. And if you're in the mood for a sci-fi Marvel film, check out Venom: The Last Dance, starring Tom Hardy. This is the final film in the Venom trilogy, but beware, it has not been made available to critics before opening night. There are also a host of scary flicks still in the theaters, including Smile 2, Terrifier 3, and Beetlejuice. And if you're lucky enough to live in a city showing the animated Memoir of a Snail, it might be worth a look. Although animated, it is rated R and is considered an Oscar contender for Best Animated Feature. Memoir of a Snail is currently pulling a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's go to the movies. Stephen King's novel Carrie is about to hit the little screen. Prime Video has announced that Mike Flanagan will turn King's novel into an 8-episode series. Flanagan has worked on other King stories, including Dr. Sleep, which was the sequel to The Shining. Carrie is the novel that put King on the map back in 1974. It was turned into a feature film in 1976. It's a great time of year to check out anything by Stephen King. In addition to horror films, there have been a slew of animated films released this year that impressed both critics and theater owners. IndieWire just released its Oscar predictions for Best Animated Feature, and Pixar Disney's Inside Out 2 is the odds-on favorite for Best Picture. The film made $1.6 billion worldwide. It is the highest-grossing animation film of all time. Other contenders include DreamWorks' The Wild Robot and Sideshow's Flow. Great recommendations for this weekend if you're done with the scares. Actress Zoe Saldana takes her craft seriously. How seriously? She told Variety that she wanted to go back and reshoot Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame because she says now she totally understands her character, Gamora's arc, better. She says she knows it can't happen, but she wishes she could because now she has a better grasp on what directors the Russo brothers had in mind. Ouch. I love Zoe Saldana, but maybe you do a little more homework next time before you hit the screen for 2 multi-million-dollar films. Saldana played the same role in the Guardians of the Galaxy films as well. Netflix has announced there will be a Season 2 of the A24 show Beef. The Hollywood Reporter says Season 2 will focus on a young couple who witnesses a fight between their boss and his wife, and will star the outstanding Carey Mulligan and Oscar Isaacson. Season 1, starring Stephen Yeun and Ali Wong, took home 8 Emmys. Isaacson and Mulligan worked together previously in the Coen brothers film Inside Llewyn Davis. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba. Weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Partly cloudy and breezy today with clouds increasing this afternoon and then a chance of showers or even an isolated thunder shower by late this afternoon into this evening. Our high today in the mid-60s. Tonight will clear after midnight with a low in the mid-40s. Tomorrow, sunshine with a high in the upper 50s to low 60s. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Outside now it's 46.
That's your WLAK Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at lakeair.radio. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.